I'll go ahead and call the August 20th, 2019 City Council meeting to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Awesome. Okay. Let's get right into it. We'll start with roll call, Sylvia.
Mayor Mays is absent. Council President Rosner?
Here.
Councilor Browse? Here. Councilor Young? Here. Councilor Garland?
Here.
Councilor Griffin?
Here.
Councilor Scott?
I'm here.
Thank you.
And next on the agenda tonight is approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion we approve the agenda.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right. All in favor of approving the agenda?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next on our agenda is the consent agenda. We have 4 items tonight. A is approval of the August 6, 2019 City Council meeting minutes. B is Resolution 2019-066, implementing the Sherwood Municipal Code Chapter 2.08 by adjusting expiration dates for board and commission terms. C, Resolution 2019-067, authorizing the city manager to execute an intergovernmental agreement with the City of Tualatin regarding the Galbraith Sanitary Extension. And D, Resolution 2019-068, amending design standards for small wireless facilities.
I move consent.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that motion passes. Great. And now we are on to citizen comments. Sylvia.
Council President, these were originally submitted as discussion for items that were listed for consent. So this, again, would be just citizen comment.
Okay, great. All right. We got 2 tonight. Karen Mansky, did I get that correct? Oh, good. Thanks. Welcome to the meeting.
Council President Rosner and councilors, thank you for having me. My name is Karen Mansky. I'm here on behalf of AT&T, speaking about Resolution 2019-068, amending design standards for small wireless facilities. First, I'd like to thank council and staff for identifying and clarifying an area of the small wireless facility design standards that was ambiguous, specifically installation of replacement light poles or new standalone poles in areas where there are utility poles with overhead lines, but where no separate light pole exists. I understand that the city sees this change as merely a clarification. However, the changes may still hinge on the city's development of reasonable, objective, and workable design details via the exhibits for such replacement and new poles. AT&T continues to be concerned that compliance may not be technically feasible. In addition, by continuing to restrict use of utility poles with overhead lines and other existing structures in the right-of-way for small wireless facilities, the city may see significantly more poles in its right-of-way to meet deployment needs. My ask tonight is that staff continue to work with industry to develop reasonable, technically feasible design details and continue to look for ways to improve the design standards for our mutual success in deployment of small wireless facilities in Sherwood. Thank you for your time and attention, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Questions?
Questions during
Nope.
public comments.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate your time. And then we have one more, Stephen Kuhn.
Good evening, Mayor and Councilors. My name is Steve Kuhn, and I work for Verizon Wireless in the Network Engineering Group. My address is 19950 Northwest Tannisbourne Drive in Hillsborough. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak tonight about small cells. The proposed code amendments that you have before you tonight severely limit the allowed vertical infrastructure available for small cells by removing the option to attach the existing utility poles where separate light poles do not exist. So that is somewhere where we could have built before and now we can't. And this new policy shift is especially problematic given the light pole feasibility, design feasibility issues that we outlined the last time that we were in here. With unworkable light pole and wireless-only designs, and now no option to locate on any existing wood utility poles, the proposed regulations materially inhibit the ability to provide service, which violates the FCC order. The change is also inconsistent with the FCC's requirement that regulations for small wireless facilities be no burdensome than those for other infrastructure in the right-of-way. To the extent there are existing poles now, the city should allow attachment to those poles until the owner of that infrastructure is required to underground their equipment. At that time, the owner of the small wireless facilities would then put up new light poles or standalone wireless poles. Wireless networks are seeing dramatic growth, so every year or every 2 years, wireless data is doubling. And the solution to that, the solution that we have is putting up small cells. So the last thing anybody wants is a congested cellular network with no path forward. That's sort of what we're getting here. So we ask tonight that you don't approve the current changes. Of course, you already have, but the changes proposed by staff, and we had provided some red lines, maybe for a future change to the code. We've already communicated to staff the minimum dimensions required to place small cells, and we haven't seen any design updates based on that feedback, but we're still willing to partner with the city to help develop those workable design standards, something that will work for us. Whether the FCC orders here or not, we still have to have a path forward for our equipment, and right now we don't have it. So thank you for the opportunity for allowing me to speak today, and I'll answer any questions you might have.
Thanks for coming in. Appreciate your time, Stephen.
Has Josh a question?
Yes.
I was just going to ask our attorney a question. Yeah.
Okay.
So, Josh, this not allowing them to put on our utility poles, we're not treating them any differently than anybody else, right? Because nobody's allowed to put anything on our utility.
Don't allow any type of new utilities to locate on existing utility poles.
On existing poles.
Right. So obviously there are already utilities on some of those poles.
Right.
But new utilities are not allowed to locate on those poles. So this is treating small cell facilities the same way as other types of utilities.
Okay.
And to the points raised, we are still working internally and with the carriers and others to try to develop those design details that will be workable for everybody. We'll be
I
bringing
think
those
that's
back in the future.
our hope is that we're working with the carriers to come up with a
Yes.
reasonable design that everybody can
That is still our goal.
live with. So,
Yes.
okay.
And typically, when a new utility comes in, we want them to underground it.
Yes.
Pursuant to our overall policies around that.
Correct.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Awesome. Okay. Moving on to new business. We have one resolution tonight. Resolution 2019-069, designating the Sherwood Park Skate Park for public recreational purposes and adopting skate park rules. This is super exciting. We're finally here. So, Josh, you want to take this?
Yes. So I will do my best. I am kind of the point staff person on part of this and not on the rest, but I'm going to try to cover for Kristen as best I can. She's on vacation. So as you mentioned, we have a skate park that's under construction that is soon to be opened, and this is kind of one of the last steps for the City Council to take before we can do that. This resolution accomplishes two things. Excuse me. The first is that it formally designates the skate park as an outdoor recreation facility, which is important for purposes of recreational immunity. In the hopefully unlikely event that somebody is injured at the skate park, recreational immunity prevents that person from being able to sue the city for that, just like if they're injured on any other outdoor recreational land that is freely available for use, like parks. So that is one thing that this resolution does. The other thing is it approves the rules for use of the skate park, which have been developed in consultation with our insurance agent and with the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board. which are attached to the resolution. If you have questions about those, I'll do my best.
I have quite a few. You
I have some too.
You go.
We might have the same ones.
You might if you were reading social media.
Oh, I wasn't. So one of the things that we did when we talked about this at the Parks and Rec meeting is we made recommendations to Kristen and I think Kelsey. Alcohol, comma, tobacco products, comma, drugs. There's a comma missing after alcohol.
Yep.
Unless there is such a thing as an alcohol tobacco product. I don't know what that is, but as far as I
Appears
know,
to be a missing comma, yes.
that's a missing comment. And then there's no mention here about vaping, marijuana. That's smoking, right? It says tobacco. That's not.
So is vaping not a tobacco product?
I think it's,
Oh.
I don't know that teenagers would describe it that way. I think it's good to call it out because it's high use right now. For clarity.
Yeah.
Clarity.
I-
And I would also do the same with marijuana, personally.
Is marijuana not considered a drug?
Oh, it's illegal. It's not illegal.
It's still a drug.
Illegal drug.
A legal drug.
A legal drug, yes.
Yeah. Oh, so
how about
based
just
on
smoking?
the state laws, you're not allowed to smoke marijuana anywhere in a public place.
Already illegal under state law, that's correct.
I think drugs covers it, but if you guys want to call it out, sure.
I think just given the fact that people read these and put their own spin on it, I think it's good to clarify it. Because I think when people see drugs, they're thinking illegal drugs. Marijuana is now legal.
Alcohol. Sorry.
Isn't it the act of smoking of any kind? Any kind of smoking is not allowed.
That's
Right.
true, but marijuana
Could be
is used in a lot
products.
of different other ways than just smoking. So
Right.
just based on the comments I'm hearing, what my kind of handwritten red line is alcohol, comma, tobacco products, comma, marijuana products, comma, drugs, comma, and glass containers are not allowed.
Vaping.
And vaping.
Vaping.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
But isn't vaping a tobacco product?
It is.
Maybe after tobacco products in parentheses.
Vaping and tobacco, vaping and other tobacco products.
Yeah.
I like including vaping in my
For clarity.
but
It also seems weird to me that glass containers is on this row. I think having glass containers being excluded makes sense, but lumping it in with consumption of alcohol and drugs and other products seems like a weird fit. Oh yeah, by the way, glass. Like it just
Yeah.
seems weird to me.
It's like basically don't show up with a Snapple bottle in your hand when you're trying to skateboard in the park because if it goes down, glass gets on the ground. They're going to have to shut the park down.
maybe
until they clean it up.
combine that with the trash container line.
Yeah.
You know, no glass containers, and please, dispose of all your trash or something. Just seems like a better fit there than
I
with the
agree.
tobacco
Then
and
in the
alcohol.
drug, yeah.
Yep.
shift it up.
And then I was going to mention this, and maybe you could mention that if you want.
Oh. Well, there were some comments because I posted this on social media, so I just went and wrote down their comments. There was one, the use of bikes, example, BMX bikes in the parks is prohibited. There was a comment then saying, well, my kid's going to see that BMX bike, and
Right.
and he says, I don't have a BMX bike, so I'm going to take my regular bike, even though it says use of bikes, maybe use of any bikes or all bikes or.
The use of bicycles is, we're wordsmithing.
Well, maybe take out BMX and put in the word all so that there's no.
Any
I
kind.
think the use of bikes covers all
Bikes.
bikes. I think we're getting a little too granular on that one. I think
I
just the
agree.
use of bikes in the park is prohibited.
I just think we should take
Was just a
BMX
suggestion
out.
by the
Yeah.
public.
Yeah.
And then the other comment was on that first line where it says the city does not assume responsibility. They thought that was pretty high level, and why wouldn't we say something like the city is not responsible for? Is that a legal term, that assume responsibility?
City is not, no, I think we can phrase it, this is for the understanding of the general public, right?
Yeah.
So, the city is not.
So,
Yeah, I like that.
They're people too, Josh.
I think these are all well taken.
So who's going to supervise to make sure that they're wearing helmets? Does this fall on your crew, Chief?
I do not believe that is the intent, and I certainly hope not.
I would assume just as much as the law that requires kids on bicycles to be out bicycling with helmets.
Right.
It's self-monitored, parent responsibility. I'm assuming if the cops ride up and see, maybe they'll say, hey, little guy, why aren't you wearing your
Right,
helmet?
certainly any of the rules that are observed would result in some level of accountability.
Okay.
And I apologize, I don't have them in front of me, but I hope that that is covered somewhere so that it's not left up to somebody to figure out, do we kick them out? Do we not kick them out?
Yeah, and then
It
I see
doesn't
it,
say.
I mean, I understand the additional obstacles and why they shouldn't be there, but I don't know, I'm just wondering if by calling that out, if it's just asking for problems, if we don't have anybody to monitor the,
But if we don't call it out when they bring it, we have no
Yeah,
teeth.
I know.
I'd like to keep that in there because
have the
that's,
teeth.
just trying to figure out the, I don't know.
I think the monitoring is
teeth.
going to be a staff policy issue in terms of how they want to handle that.
Be complaint driven.
Yeah.
The goal-
exactly, if it
The goal
raises
of
that
this is
level,
just
the
to give
phone
them the
numbers.
avenue if they
Yeah.
need it.
Yeah,
I would also
that's
just,
a good point.
It will
point
be a
out-
work in progress, I'm sure, the whole new
There's also
skate
just a
park.
typo on the word inquiries towards the bottom there as well. You're missing an I.
Yep.
So the chiefs, to the chief's point, it may be beneficial to put somewhere on here that violations of these rules could result in expulsion from the park or something. You know.
Oh,
That's a good
otherwise,
deterrent.
there is no, well, what if I do this? What happens?
Yeah.
Anything else?
Expulsion. Oh, no, I love the concept. I was just curious, how can we expel somebody from a public park?
Yes.
City property, right?
Yes,
Okay.
it's city property. Yes.
All right.
Do we have a specific language already in place that we can refer to? Is there a code or something that,
I just added violation of these rules may result in expulsion from the skate park.
okay.
There we go.
Perfect.
So,
Word for word.
so let me read through the
Amended.
proposed amendments, and if they sound good, somebody can make a motion to amend, and then we can have approval of that, and then a motion to approve as amended. Okay. So I'm just going to start from the top for clarity. So, skate park rules. Park open from 9 o'clock a.m. till dusk. This skate park has been designated as an outdoor recreational facility by the Sherwood City Council. This facility is not supervised. Skate at your own risk. The city is not responsible for injuries. The use of bikes in the park is prohibited. The use of helmets is required by law for all participants. There should be participants.
Good catch.
Under the age of 16, the use of helmets, knee pads, and elbow pads are strongly recommended for all ages. Be respectful of other park users. Respect lines and take turns. Moderate your language, keep music appropriate and at a reasonable level, and skate responsibly. Use trash containers provided. Glass containers are not allowed in the skate park. Alcohol, tobacco products, including vaping, marijuana products, drugs are not allowed. Additional obstacles or other materials like ramps and jumps may not be used at the skate park. Use extreme caution when surface is wet. Violation of these rules may result in expulsion from the skate park. Emergencies, call 911. Non-emergency offenses, call 503-629-0111. For inquiries, adding an I there, and to report problems, call the Parks Department at 503-625-5722. Have fun and enjoy your park.
Great.
Excellent.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to amend?
I make a motion to amend?
Second.
All right, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. I guess now, do I have a motion to approve the resolution?
I make a
Unless you
motion.
have the question.
Yeah, if there's any further questions, we can handle those and then.
Sorry, Kim.
That's right. I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2019-069, designating the Sherwood Skate Park for public recreational purposes and adopting skate park rules as amended.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Discussion on the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes.
And is it September 14th? Is that the date? Are
September
we-
14th.
We're going to have some kind of sign for sure before then. So on the day of
Rick, do
opening,
you know the answer to that?
we'll have a sign.
I will do that.
Awesome, thank you.
Did I correctly read that it actually opened on the 1st? No?
I thought so.
I was, you probably read what I read. So what I was told was if the landscaping is done prior to the 14th, possibly we would have a soft opening, rather than, this is from Joe told me this. So there's nothing set in stone. Who knows if the landscape will be done?
And the ribbon cutting is on the 14th.
Yeah.
And who's that coming?
You have a famous skater, I understand.
I think so.
There will
I
be
can't remember.
demonstrations.
There we
That's
go.
what we
Somebody's
heard.
name is on the poster, so.
Well, it's nice to see that project finally closing out and getting that facility built for the city and our community and our kids. It's been, what year did that start in?
2006.
2006, and that was a grassroots effort of a bunch of kids.
Yeah,
Great.
Awesome.
Awesome.
started and stopped and started and stopped and started and stopped and started and finally.
Got her over the finish line. All right. City manager report. Chief, I think Joe said you were going to do that for him.
Outstanding.
Excellent.
As most of you know, we had a wonderful Citizens Police Academy, our first ever last week, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. By all accounts, it was a huge success, and more importantly, it was a great learning opportunity. So we have a couple tweaks to make to improve upon what we have, which is already pretty good, and that's based on the surveys and the feedback we got. So it's important for you all to note that there will always be spots for council in future academies. We're kind of looking right now at February as our next one, and we'll try to have a couple a year. So that's about all I have, and Josh is just getting back from vacation, so I don't know if he has anything he wants to add or not.
Can I just add on that real quick? Because
Sure.
I did go through the academy. It was wonderful, and I highly recommend it for everyone on council to do it. It was the ride-alongs give you a lot of perspective on what our officers have to deal with on a day-to-day basis, but the academy really drove that home. It was fascinating and a lot of fun, and I really appreciate all the hard work that your staff put into that. And one more thing I will just say, it also just really hit home for me what awesome staff we have over there at the police station. Our officers do an amazing job, and it was the level of knowledge they have on just a diverse number of subjects was just amazing. So kudos.
This is my first day back from vacation, so I don't have anything to add.
And Chief, I was teasing. Joe didn't ask me to have you give that report. So, all right. So we'll move on to council announcements. Would you like to go first, Russell?
Yep, I'll go first.
Awesome.
So recently at the Parks Board, we had a discussion about, lots of things. So we focused a lot on the Parks Master Plan. Apparently a survey was just posted on social media. It's gone out, and it's for the community. And they'll be, let's see, I think they were at Music on the Green, and they'll be at Movies in the Park on Friday. So they're still continuing to reach out and find out what does the public want in terms of parks and facilities and recreation and all that. So that's still going on. The next Parks Board meeting is going to be on the 9th because the 2nd is right before Labor Day. So it'll be on the 9th of September. And that's all I got.
Awesome. Kim?
Yes. So this morning I attended the chamber meeting at the Edie Ridge Elementary School, and they gave a state of the district for the school district update, and that was always one of the favorite meetings, well attended. It was impressive to see how many school district staff were there. Also, tomorrow night from 5 to 7, there's an open house at the Sherwood Police Department. This is for the county, and they're holding an open house to go over the 12th and Sherwood area updates, construction that's going to be going on. So I would encourage anybody and everybody to attend that. I know there's been a lot of questions on social media about, who's going to lose their houses and how does that work, and this is a good time to go get your questions answered on that. And that's all I have.
I don't believe anybody's losing their house, just to be clear.
Well, and just to be clear, nobody's losing their houses, but this is a good time for you to go find out why and how that's going to work without anybody losing their houses.
Thank you, Kim. Renee?
Well, let's see. I attended the breakfast this morning as well, and like Counselor Kim said, it's a wonderful opportunity to hear what's going on in the school district, and they're on time and they're on budget for the project. And so we're supposed to make sure that we convey that message loud and clear. This Friday is the annual Chamber Golf Tournament. I am a horrible golfer, but I will be playing on the city team. It should be fun. It's a great way to support the Chamber. This week we have a group of Japanese students here from Koto, Japan, learning about our culture. They're preparing for the Olympics for August 2020, and a couple of those students are living with our family. So it's always an excellent experience to get to know those kids. Tomorrow night is the last Music on the Green for this summer. Hard to believe, it's gone so fast, and it's the big band, Woody Height. Thank you. I attended the Heritage Pine Natural Area with Congresswoman Bonamici last week, and the plan for that area is absolutely going to be beautiful. I don't know if you know about it, but I learned a lot about white oak trees, and that was a natural area for white oaks, and so they want to take it back to that natural habitat. We don't have a library meeting this month. We'll be meeting again in September. The senior center meeting is next week. And not that it has anything to do with city council. It is important in my life. I'm going to be a grandma. So my daughter is going to have her first baby in February. February 16th is the due date. And so I add a new name to my list, Grandma.
That's awesome. You get to spoil them with no consequences.
I've already started.
That's great. So last night I attended the Culture Arts Commission meeting. It's an exciting group. They've got a lot of plans they're working on their master art plan update. And so that's going to be fun to see what they're getting some of their creative ideas organized onto paper, which is important, so they can, present that to the council and to the budget committee and to the city if they have some ideas, actually have something we can look at and possibly put some money towards. They have some vacancies on the Cultural Arts Commission. They are open until this Friday, until 5 p.m. So if you're interested in joining the commission, check out the city website. You can find an application to put your name in, get through an interview, and see how that works out for you. Kind of on a personal note as well, today I attended the Sherwood Middle School open house for my oldest daughter today. So this is my first daughter making the step into the middle school, so I just wanted to call out the staff there at the middle school. They were fantastic, very, very helpful for parents who, like myself, had never really been in the building. It's a bit of a confusing building.
Yes, it is.
And very helpful with the incoming sixth graders who had eyes about like this big and were excited and scared at the same time. You could see the look in their faces. So the staff was helpful, and I'm really looking forward to working with them next year. And kind of on that school note as well, school's back in session for many of our students on September 3rd. So start getting back into the mindset of school speed limits. Start thinking about that again. I know that everybody has gotten into a different mindset through the summer. So
Crossings.
yep, crosswalks, speed limits in the school zones. Just start thinking about it, because we're going to have kids in those areas very soon. So that's all I've got.
Thanks, Sean.
I don't have that much. Planning Commission did not meet earlier this month, so they've had a little bit of a late month like we have. But they are meeting next week. I don't have the agenda yet, but they do have a meeting planned next Tuesday, 7 o'clock right here in this room. And then I believe we have a public hearing on a planning issue at our next meeting on the 3rd of September, sorry. So 2 weeks from tonight.
That's all I've got. Thank you. Well, I just have a couple things. I haven't had a school board meeting this summer. We have our first one kicking off the new year tomorrow night, actually. So that'll be fun. I attended the Washington County Coordinating Committee meeting. Keith was out of town. For those of you who don't know, that's mainly the mayors in Washington County get together and they discuss transportation needs and prioritize MISTIP funds. On that note, if you don't know, we do have a line item in that that was approved by the committee. It's not approved, but at least by the committee for some matching funds for, is it, Josh is not here, or Joe's not here, but it's the road that will go past the new water treatment plant. Blake Road, which will be awesome because we need more infrastructure and roads in that Tonquin area to bring more business in. So that's good news. They also gave a Metro, or TriMet was there, gave a presentation. They were actually going to start a study on putting a tunnel for Max underneath Portland, east to west.
Wow.
Yeah, and excuse me. Needless to say, there was a little concern in the room. A lot of us expressed concerns because they're spending a lot of money in Portland. They're not spending money outside of the Southwest project to extend it, for instance, into Forest Grove or eventually south toward Wilsonville with light rail and those types of things. So there's some concern about their priorities, and that was voiced by a lot of the Washington County mayors in that WCC meeting. I also attended the WRWC meeting, which is the Willamette River Water Coalition. Pretty standard meeting. That group, again, for those that don't know, manages the water rights that we have at the city of Sherwood, Tualatin, Tigard, and for Tualatin Valley Water. So we manage about 156 million gallons a day of water capacity out of the Willamette. So the big thing that's going on there right now is there is about, I can't remember the exact number, but there's about 1,000 acre-feet of water in our reservoirs in the Willamette Valley that the federal government, the state government, and other agencies are looking at how is that going to get divvied up in the future, 50 to 100 years from now. So there's a lot of discussion about where that water is going to go. And it's the typical sides that you would expect. There's industry, there's government, there's agriculture, and fish and wildlife that are all wanting big pieces of that. So that's a big conversation that's going on right there. I also attended today Renee was talking about the contingent of Japanese students that are here. We had a nice meeting with the kids today, and there were 16 of them, and they got presented with a little bling from the city of Sherwood, and they all had a prepared question for me, which was a lot of fun. Interestingly, a lot of the questions were around why people volunteer so much in the city of Sherwood, which I thought was interesting. I'm very anxious to find out what they were doing while they were here that they would cause those types of questions to pop up. But great kids. There was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun doing that today.
A lot of it has to do because we're a volunteer council. A lot of it has to do with the fact that we're a volunteer council and that doesn't make sense to them. And so that's where it originally started.
Gotcha. So that was a lot of fun. And I already mentioned I attended the inaugural Citizens Police Academy here in the city of Sherwood. It was awesome. I was teasing the fire chief that I hadn't been invited to the police or the fire academy while we were there, and lo and behold, Monday morning I had an invite. So I'm super excited about doing the fire academy, and I think I'll be doing that with you, Russell. So that'll be a lot of fun.
It'll be fun. Start a fire, I'll be so glad.
You start it, I'll put it out.
We should put it out.
We didn't just start it, we got to put it out.
Okay, we'll put it out.
Well, that's no fun. Anyways, anything else? Staff, do you have anything else you'd like to talk about? Great. Well, then we are adjourned.